Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Talking Busch. I am your host, Dave Pikus. Week 1, NFL in the books. What a weird, crazy week with the games Thursday, Sunday, and then 2 games last night on Monday. In the South Minneapolis studios with me, I got Matt Train. Matty, how you doing?
Well, I'm 1-0, so I don't know how you complain about that.
I went 2-1 on the weekend in my leagues. Feeling pretty good about it. Scored over 100 in every league, so I'm feeling actually pretty confident about where the season's heading.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to us live from his Painesville, Minnesota studio in what appears to maybe be a party house basement in St. Joe, Minnesota. Could be in Mankato, Duluth, anywhere. We got the college football legend, Johnny Thompson. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm trying to replicate the Carroll House basement a little bit. So many fond memories there. So I thought, woo! Why not try to replicate that and all the great times we had down there?
Nice. Well, John, let's start with you. Weekend recap. First weekend
not.
with Little Harper. How did it go?
Oh, it went really well. Really well. She's pretty awesome. Amazing that I did that. I helped do that. That's amazing.
How many days old is she now?
She is 1 week old today.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, they grow up so fast, man.
They do.
It's just crazy.
They do.
It's just like that. She's a week old.
Well, it looks like you maybe haven't showered in that week, so that's good. Welcome to parenting.
I actually did just shower, but it's probably the light. Makes my hair look greasy. But we had a good day today. We went on a nice long walk.
Jeez.
And I'm surprised you can't see it on the video, but I got some sweet flow going on right now.
I can see it on the video. I'm loving it.
If it was 1981 and I rolled up in a Trans Am, there's no doubt I would be getting some sort of action.
All right.
Alrighty, well, John was taking care of a kid all weekend. Matty Train, what'd you do this past weekend?
A lot of football. Big Gophers win. Stood up out of my seat at home watching Antoine Winfield Jr. Seal the game for the Gophers. A lot of football on Sunday. That was about it for me.
You're darn right. The AFF, Matty Train, coming at us pretty strong here.
What does AFF stand for?
I'm
not sure I know what that means for.
Anti-fleck fuck. Soon he will pretend he's riding the boat. We'll put him in a little tube behind.
We'll put him on an inner tube in the back.
Yep.
I'm an anti-fleck fuck just because I want to see him win something before I go all rah-rah. I think we're going to the Rose Bowl.
No. We're not pro Rose Bowl. We're
Is John on the band?
John's in the boat.
I don't think John. I think John was at least halfway between you and I before.
No.
Well, I think we all have made it very clear where my allegiance is.
Iowa.
However, this regime has me more excited than the previous 3. This brings me back to our adolescence, our Glenn Mason days. And I think we kind of touched on that last week, where this program has been in such disarray for so long that the top 10 running backs of all time basically were at the U of M during the time we were in 7th grade until we graduated, which is sad considering how long this program has been going.
It's true.
Also, I'll say, I know Fresno's got a bunch of experienced guys, and I know they won 10 games last year. Still Fresno. We beat Fresno and New Mexico State.
2-0.
Yes, we are 2-0. But let's wait until we get into Big Ten play before we get too excited.
I mean,
you know what?
Wisconsin,
go ahead, Dave.
Same record, same shitty teams.
Yeah, Wisconsin a little more pedigree than the Gophers.
I don't know.
Well, hey, we got some ballers, man. Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah.
What a play at the end of the game. That right there defines great players and good players. Good players turn around and watch that guy catch the ball. great players turn around and make interceptions, and that is what Antoine Winfield is, a great player.
He's an exciting guy.
You know, Annexstead in the keeping within the scramble rules and running 20 yards backwards before he could turn around and
Oh, man.
Oh,
That was an awesome play.
beat those guys, come up throwing on the run. You know, Tyler Johnson, electric catch. You know, he went up there, he floated in the air for what seemed to be, you know, minutes, and then comes down, has the wherewithal to put a foot in bounds and make the catch.
Had me reminiscent of Aaron Rodgers against Dallas in the playoffs. Just running for his life, rolling to his left, heaves her down there, and a miracle catch by Tyler Johnson.
See, elite guys make elite
play.
plays. And now that we're into year one of the Fleck guys, I think you're going to be able to see it, you know, 1 or 2 years down the road when we get 3 years of these playmakers into the system and get them rolling.
If this team can put together 7 or 8 wins with all the youth that they have, that would be exciting.
It's going to be fun. I know we're going to, you know, we have Little Sisters of the Poor this weekend again. Open up with Maryland, who's playing pretty well on the road, so it's going to be a test right away. But I think we can step up and make some believers out of a few guys. I know we.
Now, is this the official start of Big Ten play, or no?
One more week.
Okay. This is the Big Ten, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But I know we've had some early conference play going on in the Big Ten. I mean, this is
Yep. Things are starting to shape up in the Big Ten where they're getting you know, a little bit more of that TV money to play those big games early. So moving and kind of taking the SEC mantra where, you know, you play a couple of big games right away and then you save some of those kind of cupcake games till the end of the season where, you know, you're playing your rival the next week. You can maybe sit a couple of guys, get everybody healthy, run up the score, get everybody feeling good before you go into that rivalry week, the last week of the season. So feeling good about the Gophers. You know, it stinks about Rodney Smith and his knee injury taking him out for the rest of the season. Great to hear, though, that, you know, they think he'll qualify for the medical red shirt and he'll be able and seems willing as of right now to want to play a 6th year with the team or 5th year with the team. So we'll just move forward and keep kicking butt.
Roll the boat, baby. Keep rolling the boat.
So we're just going to keep rolling through here. Vikes played on Sunday. I thought they played pretty well. Offense, a little shaky at times. I think we're going to have to work through some issues there. Obviously, it all starts with the offensive line, and we get those guys to have a few games together. I think we'll play a little bit better.
I think one of the big things is you got to get that offensive line to a point where you're creating some holes in the run game, especially if this team is going to be explosive offense. I mean, if we're as solid top to bottom as we think we are, and you jump out to a lead like we did, I mean, you just got to have some ability to sustain a running game because they just really struggled to do that. So
yeah, that didn't help at all that they couldn't get Alvin and even Latavius going, and I think that's why we're having so many 3 and outs because 49ers could just sit back, play pass coverage. They are a pretty good run defensive team anyway, so yeah, they definitely need to get another game under their belt, get some things figured out, and I think we'll be okay. Coming up against a tough NFC North rival game on Sunday.
Yeah, it should be fun. I know that the game opened up as a pick'em in Vegas between the Vikes and the Packers. I know that when Aaron got hurt, things kind of changed a little bit. No, I didn't see it before we got on the air, but I think it's leaning back towards the pick'em. Let's talk a little bit about that Packers game Sunday night. Holy shit, Khalil Mack looks good. Mm-hmm. Clearly, though, he either ran out of steam and he's not in football shape, or, you know, you found a way to scheme against him because he was pretty well not heard of in the second half.
Right.
I mean, how many splash plays is a guy expected to make, though? I mean, you know what I mean? When you rack up the interception and a fumble recovery and a sack and all that stuff, I mean, it's not like you're going to keep that pace throughout the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
From a defensive standpoint, you make those splash plays, and that should give you the leg up, which it did. obviously, problem is they choked it away. But
Very true, very true. I think that, going into Lambeau is obviously going to be tough. I also kind of want to know what was going on in that fish house on the sideline while Aaron was in there.
No
Was he
shit.
just getting jerked off? Like, what was going on in there? He was there for a long time.
I gotta remember. Did you guys see the post game interview with Rogers?
And Susie Colbert, and
Yeah.
it looked like he somewhere developed a southern accent, even though he's lived in California his
Dude,
whole life.
He was high as a kite.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was on
absolutely.
so many drugs.
Oh,
And then when he said that he looked for Brett Favre for his strength, it was like, oh yeah, Brett Favre was pretty high on drugs the entire time he played football too, man.
Right. So it'll be interesting. I wish I could be a fly on the wall when he woke up Tuesday morning or Monday morning without drugs, and how bad his knee actually hurt.
Yeah.
Well, that could be that could be a big issue coming into this Vikings game. I mean,
right.
He could. I mean, he's not a scramble guy. I think they're going to keep him short, 3-step drops.
He's not a scramble guy, but he is a get outside the pocket and freaking rifle.
But if you look at the
thing in sports is
Roger scrambling.
Rolls out right. I mean, if you can keep him inside the pocket, I think that makes him significantly less dangerous. Still a great quarterback.
Well, I mean, he played 3-step drops the whole second half of the game and seemed to work out for him.
True.
But
still Rodgers, I suppose.
Defense will be fun to watch. I think this week we're going to pin the ears back and really get them flustered. Offensively, those cornerbacks and the DBs for the Packers are terrible. So we should be seeing some big things. We're going to be running a lot of passing plays. Should be fun to watch.
Right. Should be great. Can't wait. Pumped. Excited.
Jeez. All right. Let's hop in here to, let's go one more NFL big talker of the weekend. How Cleveland was it to play the best game you've played in 6 years and then freaking not even come close to being successful in winning the game on that field goal in overtime?
Sad, really.
There were so many people. So you've heard about these Bud Light fridges at all the bars in Cleveland?
Right.
That are locked up, chained up, and then as soon as Cleveland wins a game, they're going to open the fridges and everybody gets the free beer in there until it runs out. Everybody was so excited. They had news cameras on at all these bars getting this going, and then boom, nothing.
God, that would suck.
Guys, there is no ineptitude like the Browns franchise in all of sports, and it's not close. I mean, it really isn't close when you start looking at some of the numbers. I retweeted something at our Talking Busch handle the other day. Browns are +5 in that game in the take give. Teams that are +5 or better over the last 5 years are 132, 4-1. The Browns have 2 of those losses and the tie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't that amazing? I heard that on PA. Or on maybe the morning show. Just phenomenal.
There's also a YouTube video. John Bois from SB Nation, interesting dude, has a video on YouTube about the ineptitude of the Cleveland Browns and how no team in sports has ever come even close to the ineptitude that they've experienced in so many different factors. And even you take the Browns, you change them to the Ravens, and what do? Win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's unbelievable.
It's cursed. If there's ever a sports franchise that's cursed, it's Browns.
We think we're tortured. They got it bad. They got it tenfold.
Well, it's a different kind of heartbreak, I suppose. You know.
Yeah.
LeBron leaves them twice.
I don't want to talk about
Football is
it.
terrible. Yeah. All right, let's jump right into the Busch League here. We had some interesting matchups.
We really have to. I'd rather talk about anything else than Busch League.
Come on, John. Own up.
Come on, buddy.
Own up to it, buddy.
This isn't week 4 last year. You'll be okay.
I know. I mean, I'm not being a poor sport like that, but I just think there's other things in the world, like
What was interesting?
Getting a colonoscopy or something, something way better than talking about fantasy football right now.
Well, good thing that we got your score coming up last, so we can really talk about it at the end.
Oh, good. Anything else you want to talk about? Maybe Debbie Downer topics we can touch base on while we're at it.
Sure. Well, let's start with the wins by conference. Your Mankato Division 3-0 this weekend.
Whoop, whoop.
Big wins. Conversely, the senior circuit was 0-3. Teams that we all thought were going to have really good seasons had good teams. 0-3 to start. The junior division, maybe the biggest shocker of all, 2-1. We'll get into some of these guys who had trouble scoring half as many points last year. Were able to cross over the 100 mark this year in week 1. And then the Carroll division was 1-2 with the champ going down in week 1. Must have just a little bit of partied too hard all during the off season. Was unable to perform week 1.
Yeah, Busch Bowl hangover. That's
Yep.
what we
Got a
call
little
it.
bit
Yep.
of a hangover.
Brought to you by Tostitos and Metlers
Yes,
and Papa's Pizza. R.I.P.
Mhm.
P.
indeed.
All right, so
And Moose Country.
and Moose Country. Also R.I.P. IP. The Peppy Kids 123.8 over the Big Hoss 100.8. The Peppy Kids got led by Aaron Rodgers with 24.9 points, even while sitting out a quarter, and James Crowner 31.7 points. The Big Hoss had
Big waiver wire pickup right there.
huge waiver wire pickup. Tom Brady scored 21.3 points. He's pretty good. And Stills had 24.6 points. Over in some other non-conference play, the two girlies won cup. Scored the league high 142 points this week. He was led by Alvin Kamara with 38.6 points. Sanders with 24.5 points, and the Ravens D with 21.8 points. He defeated the Heartbreak Kid, who put a total of 120.5 points up. He was led by Drew Brees, 31.6 points, and the Vikings D with 24.6 points.
I think the most advantageous spot to be in fantasy football is Saints players down by a lot.
Yep.
When that happens, Drew Brees is thrown for 500 yards, and he's throwing it to everybody. It's just nuts.
It's just unbelievable that he still's got it in him. I would have thought that 2 years ago, or even last year all season, I was just concerned that eventually that was going to run out, and it clearly hasn't, and the magic's still there.
No problem on that offense. Defense, on the other hand.
Not phenomenal.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? 127.7 points. Derek Hartman scores over 100 for only the 6th time in the last 2 years. He has Mahomes with 28.3 points, Ajayi with 20.2 points, and Hill with 38.8 points. He defeated Soup du Jour, who scored 82 points. Back to the roller coaster that is the team Trevor Sapir. He just had the Rams defense at 24.8 points. More non-conference play. We had the Mankato division versus the senior division here. The Lords 115.5, defeating Team Aponte 86.8. Matt had Phil Rivers scoring 29 points, and Max had Michael Thomas with 30 points. Interesting game there. One thing I wanted to follow up on is, was there a reciprocal round of golf bet on that game?
No, there wasn't, and there probably should have been, because I'm down around still to Max. Haven't paid him. Haven't talked to him enough. Where you at, buddy? I got your round of golf here anytime.
All right. Well, we'll get that scheduled, and we'll maybe have a crew on site to get some live input from the players. In a Mankato division versus the Carroll House division, we had the Breast Implants Inc. 127.6, led by Crowell, 22.2 points, and Adrian Peterson with 21.6 points. He beat the Heart Attack, who scored 81.4 points. Todd Gurley had 22.2 of that. Very interesting by the Heart Attack. And we have now the dreaded last game here.
You're not leaving, are you, John?
No, I thought about it, and then I decided,
Blame it on the kombucha, a.k.a. dumpster fire, a.k.a. worst team in the league last year, a.k.a. trying to build a house and play fantasy football isn't going to work. We all know that. 122.4 over Jeff Bottom Grieve Top.
What was that?
Jeff Bottom Grieve Top.
Okay.
68.5 points. Drew was led by Mixon with 23.4 points, Thompson with 21.8 points, and Allen with 20.8 points. John just had Gordon with 23.3 points. John, one guy had almost a third of your points. How does that make you feel?
Horrible.
How does it make you feel that you lost to Drew?
We're on to the Lords.
I don't. How does it make you feel on the inside that you lost to Drew Vogt, a.k.a. the Dumpster Fire? I do know that it is one of the only times that he scored above the 120 mark. But in quite a while, and I think it'll be okay.
We got a Frozen John.
I love the
it's
Frozen
nice,
John
yeah,
here.
it's a nice.
Let's leave it.
It's a nice still frame.
He'll pop back in. It's that Paynesville internet, 50 meg max.
This is. I'd have to look back, but I bet Drew hasn't had many weeks bigger than this. in
No,
the last
absolutely not.
4 years even.
Right.
You have to go back to Drew's glory days. I mean, because Drew did have glory days.
Yep.
Believe
Well, I
it or
mean, we're
not.
talking what? That would be pre-2011, I believe that was. Back
Yeah.
when no kids.
I would go 08 to 11 probably.
Yep. Those were the big years.
Yep. I think a couple championship appearances, had some first round byes, best record in the league. But what happened since then? Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Yeah. Let me try and dial John back up here.
Forgive our technical difficulties. We're just going to pop John back in. But while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the All Play recap. Jeff?
Convenient timing on that, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. I think he might have done that on purpose. Jeff was a high scorer this week, 142. He had the 11-0 in the All Play. Derek comes in second with 127.7. For those following along, he beat Phil by 0.1 points. Then down at the bottom, we have John with 68.5 points. Very interesting, but kind of fun. I believe there's a penalty for coming in at the bottom this year.
Yeah, $5.
$5 fee into the kitty. So, John, love to see that. Can't wait till it comes in pennies. Delivered to Matt's house. So, very fun.
That's what I have a director of finance for.
Send it to Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
Next, one thing I thought was interesting was our average this week was 108.25, which is about 10 higher than what we were averaging last year for the season. So kind of fun. And of that, this is, I think, is the first time that we've had 7 players above that Mason-Dixon line, which means that everybody came out to play week 1.
Yeah.
Really excited about that.
And I think it was especially interesting that you saw offenses around the NFL really starting the season. You go back to first week of last year, it was, I think, our lowest scoring week of the entire year.
It was,
Yes,
Hey.
from a standpoint. Hey, there he is.
I'm back.
Hey.
Sorry.
He's back.
We had technical difficulty.
We were just talking about that great internet you get out there in rural Minnesota.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking sweet. So pretty much what just happened with my internet connection is how I feel about losing to Drew Vogt.
It's convenient timing on that little bit.
Super
I know.
convenient.
Right? It just went out perfectly.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get back to that, how
Oh,
would
where-
you feel if you lost to the most worthless pile of shit team in the league that hasn't been successful in almost 10 years? That's how I feel.
Okay.
And he almost doubled you up. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
That was
not
the
a
worst
close
part.
match.
I will say, though, I did get him good. I don't know if anybody saw our Slack feed, but
Yes.
I posted
yeah.
a picture of my smack talk, and that one cut him pretty deep.
It did, yes. That was pretty hard.
We still don't know if he's recovered.
I told him later I apologized. It was a little too mean because, in all reality, I would never want to see a friend have to tear up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of concrete just to have to spend thousands and thousands more to re-pour it. So
I don't hate it.
But I was bitter. But I'm trying to be a better sport. I'm a dad now. I need to grow
Cool
up.
story, Hansel.
Thanks, Olaf.
So I'm trying to be a better sport, but it's really hard when you lose to shit boxes like Drew.
All right, I believe it. All right, so one new segment that we're going to bring every week is the top performers in Week 1 based on our Busch League scoring. Our Busch League scoring can be found in a blog post on the website that will be posted up by John Thompson momentarily. I think he's already got it written. He sent it to me for some spelling corrections. Just keeping that JUCO collegiate athletes street cred with making sure there was absolutely no spelling mistakes in it, but we'll get that up on the blog soon. But this week we had 36 total players that scored over 20 points, 10 that scored over 25, 6 that scored over 30, and 1 that scored over 40. The top performer this week in the league was Ryan Fitzpatrick at 42.3 points.
My favorite.
What a day.
Stu Beard.
/Stewie.
The quarterbacks paved the way. 10 of the quarterbacks scored over 20 points. 4 of them scored over 25. 2 scored over 30. The running backs had 10 also score over 20. They were kind of contained here with 2 over 30. With the high scorer for the running backs this week was Alvin Kamara at 38.6 points, which is a boatload of points.
Yeah, it's a nice game for Kamara. 3 touchdowns, I do believe.
I believe you are correct. There were 9 wide receivers that scored over 20 points, 3 that scored over 25, 2 that scored over 30. The wide receiver leader was Tyreek Hill, 38.8 points.
Yeah, slashy guy on that one. And splashy player, big play ability for sure. I had him last year, loved him, but against tough defenses, they have a tough time getting him the ball sometimes. So we'll see. Maybe Pat Mahomes helps that a little bit.
Yep.
But he can be the guy that gets you 41 week and then puts up a goose egg the next week. So
Very true.
We'll see.
1 tight end scored over 20. That was Jared Cook, 22.5 points. And then 6 defenses scored over 20. 1 of them scored over 25. That was the Jets D last night, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Did you see that they said that they knew the Lions' plays? Did you see this?
No, I did not
No.
see that.
I don't know if I heard it on the radio or read it somewhere, but they were saying that basically the hand signals, the formation, something. Basically, the Lions were tipping their hand,
Okay.
Really?
the Jets knew what was coming at them.
Seriously, wow.
Yeah.
Well, the Jets scored 27.6 points, which, again, is a pretty big week for a defense. Really difference maker. So the top 10 fantasy players in Week 1, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 42.3 points. He is a free agent, ladies and gentlemen, so I bet you he's going for top dollar this week. We'll see tomorrow morning.
Pick him up.
He's going to pick him up, drop him, and pick him up all within 3 hours, starting about 2:30 this morning. Tyreek Hill, 38.8 points. Derek owns him. Alvin Kamara, 38.6 points. Jeff owns him. James Croner, 31.7 points. Phil owns him.
James Conner.
Yep. Sorry, I read that wrong. Drew Brees, 31.6 points. The Langer Bangers run into the Brees this year. Michael Thomas at 30. Max got him. Deshaun Jackson, he was on my draft board. I didn't get him originally, but he scored 29.1 points. He's a free agent in our league right now.
Also hurt, though. Left the game with a concussion. I think it was a concussion.
I think he'll bounce back. Phil Rivers, 29 points. He's owned by the Lords. Patrick Mahomes, he's Derek's man, 28.3 points. And Aaron Rodgers, 24.9 points. He's owned by Phil. Great little segment here. I think it's fun to see who the top players were in the league, kind of break down who's scoring the points every week also, and maybe draw some conclusions and help some of those guys out that aren't doing a lot of research.
Indeed.
Very indeed. Looking at the transactions leading up to today, not very much going on. A couple ad drops.
Yeah, we'll have our first run of free agent bidding happening over.
Yep, overnight tonight.
Yep.
Correct. So we'll just kind of roll with that.
It'll be interesting to see how much money Jeff drops in the first week of that $25 free agent auction budget.
21. It's going to be 21.
I'll put it at. I think he's matured as a free agent auction budgeter. Still outside the norm of our league for sure, but I'll say 13.
Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, I'm not sure who he is gonna. He'll probably try to get almost everybody that scored like within the top 10 of every position.
Get some free agents
So-
out there.
Oh, yeah.
I would hope he's matured and doesn't just go crazy, but it's Jeff. He'll probably spend bonko dollars on one. I don't think he'll go Deshaun Jackson or anything like that, but just somebody he thinks is going to be sneaky good the rest of the year. He's just going to go all in on.
That's a good call.
I agree.
see that.
He was crying to me on Sunday about Emmanuel Sanders sucking. So
Yeah.
that just tells you where his mind frame is at.
Turns out Case Keenum loves Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yikes. All right, well, I think that closes the book on week 1 here, boys. John's on to week
Nice
2
one.
already. He was on to
Nice
week 2 probably Sunday night already. Maybe Sunday
I was on
midday.
to- once Dalvin didn't get over 12, I was on to week 2 because I knew right there I was screwed.
Exactly. Well, you bop in. You got a big week 2 opponent here. We have the matchup in the room. We have John Thompson taking on the Lords. The Lords 1-0. And John, you are favored by 2.1 as of today. Got you up at 104.4 points. Matt's projected at 102.2 points. So I would call that a pick'em, but I'm going to go with I got to go with the Lords this week.
I would too.
Woohoo.
You are too?
Yep, I'm going with the Lords.
Maddie, who do you got in that matchup?
I have the Lords.
All right. This year we're actually going to keep track of who we're picking,
Okay.
and then we can put together a little spreadsheet of where we're at on these.
All right.
We
I
missed
think
it for
I'm gonna
week 1,
change
but
my team name to Paper Champions.
Paper Champions 2003.
Yeah, because on paper my team looks really good, but when it comes to performing,
Questionable.
donut, 41 donut.
The other pick'em this week, we have the 0-1 Soup du Jour and the 1-0 Dumpster Fire. Drew's favored by 1.9 points at the moment. He's projected at 98.6 points. Soup is projected at 96.7 points. I know the Soup du Jour method, and I know that it is a fucking straight roller coaster, and we were on the bottom last week, so I got to go Soup du Jour.
I think that Drew finds his way back, much like the 2004 class of New London Spicer that brought men's sports back to mediocrity after years of ineptitude. John, I think that Drew bounces back this season. I like Drew.
Maddie's going with Drew. John, who do you got in the Soup versus Dumpster Fire matchup?
I'll just go with Trevor.
Attaboy. All right. Hopping up. Team Aponte versus the Big Hoss. Mr. Aponte is a 15.3 point favorite versus a guy who hasn't set his lineup yet. Max is projected at 104.5. I'm projected at 89.2. I don't think I go 0-2. I'm picking the Haas.
I'll take Max. 15 points.
Well, unless Buffalo's offensive line shapes up and Leonard Fournette doesn't play,
That's changing.
if Fournette doesn't play and Dave can get McCoy to get some points. I am going to go with the Haas.
Well,
it feels wrong, though. It feels like I'm cheating on my girlfriend because Max is in my division, and I should root for my division a little bit. I'd change it. I want Max.
Right.
Max, I'm with you, buddy.
Dave's
All right.
got to fill a tight end spot with Greg Olson going down.
Sorry, I got a few things up my sleeve.
Hey, text me later. I got a tight end.
Yeah? Tell me more.
Yeah. Go on.
Go on. All right, we have the 1-0 Who's Your Daddy, a 3.8 favorite against the Heartbreak Kid, Timmy Lang. Derek's projected at 106.3, and Tim's projected at 102.4. I could look at this one as a pick'em as well. The odds of Derek beating Tim, I don't think their all-play record or all-time record is very good. I got to go against the division. I'm picking Tim Lang.
I'm going to take Langer Banger on this one also. I like the firepower with Zeke and Breeze. I think Who's Your Daddy has a bit of a letdown after just a massive week last week.
Pat Mahomes going into a hostile Pittsburgh Steeler territory environment.
Ooh, they are going to be fucking on fire this week.
Yeah.
They're going to bounce back huge.
So I'm definitely not going to take the Chiefs at Pittsburgh at all. Tim comes out with the victory in this one.
Popping down to another clash between the Carroll House and the Mankato division, we have the 1-0 Two Girlies One Cup, a 10.4 favorite opening up against the 0-1 Heart Attack. I don't think we've ever seen a 10-point favorite against Adam Hartman. This is a rematch of last year's Busch Bowl. I got to go with the favorite here. I'm going with Jeff.
Well, if Emmanuel Sanders stays on the right side of things in Denver, I think I'm getting text messages from Derek. I don't think he's very happy that we all went against him.
Well, maybe he should show up.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson. I think that straightens itself out for Hartman this week a little bit, but not enough. Not enough to overcome the firepower. I'm taking Jeff.
I am going to go with Jeff as well. The Roman Empire is falling, and it's falling fast. Apparently, parenting is tough on a guy, and he just doesn't have it anymore.
Well, I think that maybe it's Adam's baby year letdown. He's fallen in the Drew path. Mm-hmm. So it could be bad.
Reeve had a great point that Adam started a guy who hasn't played consistently in 3 years and was hoping to just dominate.
But he did score a touchdown. Give him that much. That was the only thing he did. But he did score a touchdown.
Very interesting. In our only matchup against two winning teams last week, we have the 1-0 Peppy Kids, a 10.1 point favorites over the 1-0 Breast Implants Inc. I think Alyssa is got to go back to work here pretty soon. So I think that the Breast Implants Inc. is going to lose a little bit of clout. I'm going with the Peppy Kids.
Yeah, I think Grieve is going to have a hard time competing until he gets Le'Veon Bell back in his lineup. The Adrian Peterson train, I think, is due for a letdown. Grant going up against Jacksonville. Don't like to see that either. I'm going Peppy Kids 2-0 and retaking the Carroll House division.
Commanding lead.
Not so fast. The internet goes all over the Twin Cities and the metro and the suburbs. Alyssa can easily access ESPN Busch League webpage wherever she's at. She will have her hand in the pot setting this lineup, combing the waiver wire. The Breast Implants don't miss a beat with their redheaded stepchild lineup, and they pull out the upset against the Peppy Kids.
All right. Wow, we got some parity here, boys. Should be kind of fun making these picks all year. Let's go. and we've kind of come down to another end of a great episode. I just want to thank John for answering the call back after he sabotaged his internet lines because he did not want to talk about him losing to Drew, a.k.a. the dumpster fire.
How come we didn't talk about your loss? Like, why do we always got to talk about my loss?
Because
No
You
one
lost
cares
to
about
Drew.
me.
You lost to Drew. That's why.
Yeah, well, wait till it happens to you, and then we'll see how you feel.
Yeah, we'll see how I feel. You've been at home for like 6 days straight now. You had no excuses of why you couldn't put together the best lineup that you possibly could.
I honestly, when John Ross caught that touchdown, I was like, oh, baby, here we go. And then it's like Andy Dalton didn't look that side of the field the rest of the game. I mean, that's not the only problem, but yeah, I could easily comb the waiver wire, and I have today, and I will to continue the rest of the week. We can't continue this. We have a legacy. We have a legacy at Jeff Bottom Groove Top that we have to keep going. So we're gonna get this fixed, and we're on to the Lords.
I love it. Well, looking forward to week 2, boys. Maddie, you got any final thoughts after week 1, going into week 2?
No, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think we got a few guys who've got a shot to upend some of these divisions the way that they've behaved over the last couple of years, so I'm excited for that. And, hell yeah, let's go.
Let's roll, boys. We got Go Football this week, 2:30 p.m. at TCF Bank. We got a shitty nooner Viking game time slot. That game should probably be prime time, but heard that the Packers can't be on ESPN 2 weeks, or be on Sunday Night Football 2 weeks in a row. Some bullshit with the TV. So we'll be playing the nooner, but should be the game of the week. And really excited. And I love you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
It's a big, hairy American winning machine.
I hate the fucking Eagles, man. Woo!
Oh, good for you.
First team off state. I can put the ball wherever I want to. I'll make it rain out.